welcome to the second episode of Real Talk. I'm your host, Dowayne Jr, and today we're going to be talking about young entrepreneurs, up-and-coming entrepreneurs, talk about their journey, the educational system, and kind of like what their vision is, and just a few other little bits and pieces in between. So if you like it, subscribe, and stay tuned. So yes, on that note then, let's get right into this then.
Do it.
So let's do some introductions. So we've got Casey.
Yes.
And Dowayne. So let's start off with you then, Casey, please. If you just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so my name is Casey. I'm from Southampton. My IG is SR_KC14. And yeah, man, just like everyone, just a normal guy from Southampton, and just trying to make out the 9 to 5 more.
Yeah.
And you know, it's me, my dad really brought me into the entrepreneur kind of world, him being an entrepreneur and stuff, and I just like building a community, and I got kind of introduced to building a community kind of when I first turned 18, and that was kind of my goal, to be an entrepreneur myself.
Good.
But yeah.
I like it. So how old are you at the moment?
Me, I'm 21.
21. Yeah, 21.
Young.
Big old 21. Good. All right, and Dowayne, moving on to you. So just give us a
of course. So my name's Dowayne Jr. actually. I'm 19. I've always wanted to sort of be an entrepreneur from young. Like seeing my mum, also my dad right there. He's also Dowayne. He's like self-employed, also running a business. I've always had like a dream, but I knew it was going to be a reality. So it's not really a dream. It's more of a mission to become an entrepreneur since I was very young. So I'm just on the stepping stones to doing that now with like AI and things like that. So yeah, that's the mission.
Good, like it. And I guess really then, before we get into the whole entrepreneurial journey and kind of where you're at now, let's kind of rewind a little bit. So 21, KC, and just tell me about like the younger years and kind of how that relates to like business. Like what I'm trying to say, do you come from a family of entrepreneurs? If so, what does that look like?
Okay.
It's just a little bit of background and your first thoughts about that as well.
For sure. So my dad's from Jamaica, born and bred, came over probably around about the same age I am now. Okay. And he was someone that he had to make money somehow, and doing that job, and he ended up learning how to cut hair. And this is when he moved down to Southampton, met my mum, and they opened up a barbershop in Southampton. And I started from early, so then you get the whole gist of things. Like growing up, only thing I knew was the barbershop, and I grew up in the barbershop. And if I wanted money, if I wanted sweets, it was sweet puff, and you get a pound. Do you know what I mean? And growing up from probably around about when I could walk and pick up a broom till probably 15, 14, I was going to my dad's shop every Saturday, sweeping, like working for the day. My sister had Monday to Friday, because her secondary school was up the road from the shop. Okay. So she could always go there straight after school, but I had to take a bus. It was like half an hour, 40 minutes. By the time I got there, half the days were already done, you know what I mean? So I only had Saturday, she had Monday, I had to get £10 a day. And I used to save up my money from that £10 a day from working at my dad's barbershop. And if I'll be honest, that's probably what got me more into making my own money. Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
And
wait, can I hold you for a second? So on that point there, so you're saying that you were obviously coming from school, going to the barbershop, sweeping up and stuff like that, and then you were saving the money. Yeah. What made you decide to save the money? How old were you at that time? Roughly, do you remember?
Probably this is probably from year 11, year 7. Yeah. Even probably year 6, year 7, every
Saturday.
So
that's about 12.
Yeah, 12, 11, 13.
Okay. So what made you decide at that age to save the money rather than spend the money?
Because, it is, at that age, my dad always tell me to save money, save. And do you know what I mean? And when he used to buy sweets and that, he'd be like, kiss his teeth and save your money in it. And I was always like, do you know what? Because I didn't grow up with anything. Do you know what I mean? Even though my dad had a barber shop, he he was grinding.
Yeah.
And my dad never lived with me from growing up, innit?
Okay.
He was always in my life though.
Yeah,
so I
yeah.
do like one of my role models, I'll be honest. But
Yeah.
he was someone where he was working all the time. So
Okay. Yeah.
really and truly it's just me, my mum, and my older brother.
Yeah.
And like we didn't grow up rich or anything, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And sometimes we struggled, but it really brought up the value, how much I value money.
Yeah.
And I realized it's like money ain't something that you just spend willy-nilly and anything, because one day you can have money, next year you spend it on something stupid, next year you don't have no money, do you know what I mean? And I always wanted to be able to have money just in case if mum needed it or whatever. And I saved up my money, I got my first bought my own phone and stuff. I didn't have, like when I was like year 7, I was like 11 years old, I was getting in secondary school, mum didn't have money for a phone. Do you know what I mean? I saved up like £80, got one little Sony little phone back then, and like I just thought, you know what, I was at an age where it's like, even though there's little money, if I save it up, then I can buy what I want and don't have to be relying on anyone.
Okay, so so not only was it good saving up, you can buy the things that necessarily you didn't have around you. Maybe some of the things that other people take for granted.
No, for sure.
And then also having that independence as well, yeah. And you say, like, obviously growing up you didn't have a lot. Like, describe what that was like, because I think sometimes when people hear, you know, I grew up on a council estate or in a city, etc., it paints a certain picture, but I think within that picture there's still a lot of detail. So obviously you mentioned not living with your dad. So was it just with your mum or stepdad?
Yeah. So
or, like, how did that fit?
It was like growing up. It was like my mum. So my dad was always in my life, but like every time I see him, it's probably like every other Sunday. Do you know what I mean? And but he was always working. If I wanted to go see him, I could, because I know where he'd be at that barbershop Monday to Saturday. You know what I mean? On the weekends, he's working in the club, so he's grafting. Do you know what I mean? And it was, even though he was making money, whatever, his thing. And now that I'm older, I realize he's like, look, well, you can go without now because he's building something for later.
Okay.
And you see that, and I'm starting to see the flowers, the seeds he was planting back then. And, And obviously, we had the struggle, but it's the fact where it taught us tough skin. Do you know what I mean? And it really, I'm very grateful for that, because I see a lot of kids that just been given stuff and so spoiled, and it's just like, but
did it? Sorry to interrupt, but did it having that effect, like? Because like my background, my mum was a single parent as well, and it was difficult, very difficult at times. You know what I mean? And like I remember I've done videos, not on this show, but videos that I've done in the past, and I've spoken about it. Like, I remember like it would come to like summer holidays, and like 6 weeks holidays, and I used to make up that I went somewhere, because going back to school, everyone was like, oh yeah, I went here, even if they went down to Bournemouth Beach. Like they went somewhere, or they went to Spain, or they done something. I was going nowhere. So I was just making up stories, like, just to fit in. Because it's like, do you know what I mean?
Do you know what, like, even in that regard, like, my dad would take us on holidays. Not every year we were on holidays, but like, he'll make us, like, he's doing his money, and he would still go on holidays, so I'm very grateful for that. But my mum, on the other hand, she didn't really have money, do you know what I mean? And she was looking after me, my sister, she's only 2 years older than me, and my 2 older brothers as well at the time. So she had 4 kids, single mum doing 4 kids, self-employed, doing like hairdressing, cleaning, and so for her, it wasn't just me and my sister got the same dad, and then my 2 other brothers got different dads. So for her, it's not just 2 kids she's looking after. She's looking after 4 kids. You know what I mean? And so it's just when I went with my mum's, it was like not say a struggle. Do you know what I mean? I had it better than a lot of kids from my area. I'm not gonna lie, but it wasn't
still hard.
It wasn't like I say, do you know what I mean? Growing up, like we always had like handy downs, and do you know what I mean? But I didn't. My mum made sure I didn't look like I had nothing. Do you know what I mean?
So she done her best.
For
your dad
sure.
done his best. And trying to level up the generation. So it's like trying to go one stage higher, kind of thing.
But
making
also,
those sacrifices.
It made me realize it's like what I want for my kids is not how I grew up.
Okay.
Do you know what I'm saying? And especially like, but I also want them to go up the same mold as I did.
Yeah.
But growing up with how I did and the area that I grew up in, it's like I could have made one decision and it could have went a different way.
Okay.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But gratefully it didn't go that way. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's just but obviously you learn from your life mistakes and you learn through life and you just you upgrade really.
And it seems like a colourful journey that you've been on up until this point as well.
No, for sure.
Which, you know, and for a young head as well, you talk about a lot of different things in a lot of detail with a mature aspect and outlook as well. So that's good to see.
Thank you.
Good. And Dowayne Jr.
Yes.
How about yourself then? So talk a little bit about kind of childhood. Obviously, I know a lot of it. But,
but you know everything.
Coming from your perspective, though, it'd be interesting to hear from your perspective a lot of the things. Kind of like your journey and thoughts behind that, really.
Yeah, definitely. So from my perspective, my childhood, it was pretty good. Like there was definitely hard times, but like obviously my mum always taught me like good morals. Always made sure that I was working for the things that I wanted, like doing chores. Remember we used to do like weekly chores and that. We used to get paid like, I think it was like £5 or £10 a week or something for doing chores. Yeah. And then when I was even a little bit younger, I wanted these magazines so badly. This like series of magazines, and I'd have to always wait like 1 week before I got the magazine, like one issue, and then there was a second issue, then a third issue. And I'd have to wait. I'd have to make sure I'm on good behaviour. It had like little charts and that to like track my behaviour. I'd get gold all around the house, be getting like gold stars here, ticks here and that, and just to like keep me motivated and make sure I was on track.
Yeah, my mum used to give me that bottle.
Obviously that motivates you as well in a different way. But yeah, like definitely stuff like that, and always taught that like family is first. Being able to like go around, see my family, and see how sort of important that is like in life. Yeah. And then in terms of money, like I saw the value of money straight away. You know, you go to the shop, you see this thing is like getting the food. This thing is getting everything, bringing everything in. Like this money is obviously important. Yeah. So. Yeah, always been taught that money is important. Always been taught to work for my money as well and value it and not just spend it. So I've always like sort of saved my money and made sure I spend it wisely, and sort of just followed the example that you and mum like set basically of just like obviously saving, working for your money.
And what about like say kind of thing? So you talked a lot there about kind of saving and the value of money and stuff like that. What about other things like what with your entrepreneur journey? What would you say? Where did it start? Where did you start? You know, what does that look like to you? Do you have any clear memories, or is it just a blur?
I just always remember just like wanting to be a millionaire as a kid. For some reason, I just wanted to be a millionaire, and like I knew I was going to be a millionaire. Yeah. And that was the only sort of option for me. I also wanted to like be like an astronaut. I wanted to be an inventor because I love my science, I love my maths and that as well. But I always knew that I wanted money, so because I saw the value of it, I saw what it could bring. So it was just like it was a no-brainer. Of course, like you should have this in your life. Like why wouldn't you have it? So yeah, that was my sort of perspective. Like in junior school, I remember we did some like business. We had to come up with a business. Like everyone in the class had to come up with one, and I did it. And like all of the teachers were like really impressed.
Oh yeah, what was that then?
I actually can't remember what the business was in particular.
I was impressed.
Yeah, it escapes my mind, but I just remember them like loving
the feeling.
it. Yeah, I remember them loving it.
Yeah.
So yeah, from that I knew I had like obviously the ability to do it.
Okay.
I was also like pretty good in school as well. Not so much behaviour, but in terms of like grades and that, I was pretty good. So yeah.
You gotta mention that, innit?
So with that then, so let's both talk about your school journeys then, yeah?
Yeah.
So do you look back now and what kind of impact did school have on you from a kind of business entrepreneur or even just confidence in this kind of space? What was that like? What would you say?
For me, Are we talking about like secondary school? Like
Yeah, we can even go further back because you know whichever point where you felt there's milestones there, good engagement.
Like me in primary school, I was like we had a one classroom for 1 year back then, so it was a small school.
Yeah.
And like I was pretty like obviously I was sporty playing football, so it was like popular, but it was fun. And then going into secondary school, to be fair, I didn't even want to be an entrepreneur. Like growing up, I wanted to be a pilot.
Okay.
Yeah, I wanted to be a pilot, and I think I was like an assembly.
What made you Because that's quite niche.
Yeah,
that's very niche. So what inspired you to?
So I was what's it called? At assembly one time. I think I was year 7, so I was 11 years old, 12 years old, and air cadets must have came in, and they're like promoting the air cadets, and I see them flying, I see them doing this, doing that, going to this, and I thought, you know what, that seems like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And like during like my time from probably year 7 to year 9, I was with like a group of boys. I wouldn't say they was nerds, but like we were playing games, we would do you know what I mean? Like I watched anime, comics and that, do you know what I mean? That type of thing. Yeah. That type of vibe, from like year 7 and 9. And I thought, you know what, that seems cool. So I started doing air cadets, and I did that for like 2 years. Okay. And I flew a couple. I flew like a tutor aircraft. I flew a glider. I flew another tutor aircraft. I flew like 2 times. And then what I've done, we did like a football tournament. So we went to like some what's it called? Air base up north, and we did a whole big tournament. We won that the Southwest region.
Oh, nice.
I got a whole little medal in that. The DOV with that was good, but you know what? I got to year 9 and I stopped hanging around with that group of friends I used to, and I started hanging around more with the people from my area. And because with that group of friends, like loved them, but I never really felt like I fit in. Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
I mean, I always, because a lot of them, most of them were white boys from near the area my school was. I didn't really fit. I didn't feel like I fit in. And
did you? When you say you didn't feel like you fitted in with them, was it a case of you were trying to fit in with them, or was it just a case of you were being yourself, but it didn't feel?
I've never like stopped being myself to try to fit in anywhere. Do you know what I mean? Because I feel like I'm very like a likable person, and it's not like they didn't like me or anything for being me, but at the end of the day, I just didn't feel like I just didn't feel like I was fitting in. Whereas the people from my area, I felt like I was getting because I lived far from them. It was like, I wouldn't even, what's it called? They'll shout me sometime, but then sometimes I'll just see it on Snap or something. They're gonna go out doing that. They didn't really get no shout because I live far. See, the guys from my ends are just around the corner. Do you know what I mean? So I just started hanging out with them more, and because of that as well, it's just I thought, you know what, people at the air cadets, it wasn't really my vibe. It wasn't. I loved what I did, and I appreciate for it because it taught me discipline. Okay. Do you know what I mean? It taught me also a lot of things when it comes to like the airspace, but also with leadership as well. Yeah. Because obviously you're seeing how other kids are like they're what's corporal and air sergeant. Some structure and and it did teach me a lot. Do you know what I mean? And like learning how to march and stuff. And I thought, the army's not for me. The army's not for me. But then from year 9 to year 11, I started selling sweets in school. Okay. Do you know what I'm saying? So I thought, you know what? That little Sunday at my dad's barbershop, that £10 was good enough. So I used to get that £10.
So you was looking for an upgrade.
Yeah, go Poundland. Yeah. Gotta get me some sweets. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Buy me £10 worth of sweets, but another £5 worth in my bag so no one's looking. Well, you know what I mean? Just anyway to try and go to school. And then that's where I first we learned, you know what I mean? Supply and demand, you know what I mean? Everyone wanted cookies. I want £1, yo. And it was. So
how much money were you making, like say per week, doing that? Were you still saving?
I was doubling my money back then. Do you know what I mean? But everything was in coins, and it was just like. But I was like, £10 worth of sweets. I'll get at least £10 plus. In profit after that, and then I would just go pound now and get some more sweets, take a picture on Snapchat, say, yo, this is the menu tomorrow, guys. This is the menu.
The menu.
You know what I mean? And then it was good because it's like I said, I didn't really have the option to ask mum for pocket money or anything like that. Do you know what I mean? Them chores were for free, boy.
Yeah.
Them chores didn't cost a thing. Yo. Didn't have no choice but to do them chores.
Yeah.
But and then what's it called? Then like COVID hit, like in the end of year 11, COVID hit, and
how was that for you? Well, actually, first of all, was there a lot of obviously there was a lot of demand for the sweets in school. Was there a lot of competition though?
Yeah, for sure. Man, I like all the kids that come up to me and say, yo, boy, you can't. I thought that I was on the block. Bro, you can't sell here, bro. I'm like, yeah, it's calm, bro. I won't. And then they see me next day, like in the corner, like, yo, make sure you don't see me. Like, all the kids, like, I'm thinking, damn, bro. They didn't even know what that was until I got older. I'm thinking, bro, just G-check me off the canteen. You know what I mean? I'm in the corridor. What chef have I had and that?
What was that like before we get into the COVID? So what was it like in secondary school? Then obviously there was a lot. So from obviously going after school, doing the barber and sweeping up at the barbershop and stuff like that, earning the money. Then obviously you wanted a little bit more money. Was some money being spent? I take it maybe you wanted to get more flashier garms or how was that?
I've never been a person to be flashy when it comes to like my outfit and anything. Like my dad really taught me it. Like he always said, don't be too flashy. People watch you, and it never was really me. It's like, well, if I wanted a new game, I could buy myself a new PlayStation game and stuff. Or if I wanted a new phone, I can. Do you know what I mean? And really and truly, it was like after school, it was like I didn't really have anything to do, so I used to just do loads of sports. Monday was like badminton, Tuesday was like basketball, Wednesday was football, and I was a little chubby growing up. So I thought, from like year 7 to year 9, I was doing sports after school every day. Yeah. So the money I was spending on like canteen, I was using that for like bus fare or. Do you know what I mean? Or extra lunch money and do you know what I mean? I got like £10 a week, which is like £2 a day. So we used to have like extra lunch money and that. And but yeah, I used to just save my money. That's what my dad always says. I always kids. And the only one I knew how to save, and I used to have like a little jar with my pennies and that. Put it in there. Yeah, I used to save up my money, boy. And but yeah, like if I wanted to buy it, like I could. Do you know what I'm saying? And it was like little things, not big money, but you know what I mean? Like I saved, when I was like 13, I saved myself like £100. Do you know what I mean? £120. It's not that much money, but back then you're thinking, you know what, I'm balling.
And I guess, I guess it as well, where you've got a constant stream of money coming in as well, and you can kind of like you said, you're doubling, so you're going to the sweet shop, doubling up your money as well. So it must have felt nice just having that freedom, flexibility.
You know when they say, don't get high your own supply. Don't eat your own supply.
Can't be in the sweets.
Sometimes it's like, that pizza at lunchtime there's enough. I've got some cookies and that's £1 profit, but
I have to eat that.
I have that one.
Some tough decisions.
Big decisions.
I was a weak man. I tell you that.
No, that's good. And Dwayne, what about you then? So school, before we go back onto the COVID. So school, kind of like secondary school. What was that like for you? You know, from a point of view of like the school helping you on the entrepreneurial side of things. Were there any kind of takeaways from that? Any milestones to that?
For school, for me, to be fair, I was quite like baddie behaved. I was always like a class clown in school. Like always making jokes.
Like, I know.
used to get the emails. always making like jokes and that, like in the class. But I was always also like very good at doing my work as well. And I think a lot of the reason why I'd misbehave is because I got bored. So like I'd finish my work and then I'd just be messing around, telling jokes and that. So that's basically summed up school for me. I was a bit of a nuisance for the teachers. Probably a bit of a handful, but at the same time they couldn't really like say anything because I was still on top of my work.
So like in isolation or anything like that.
It's like I think only once or twice I got in isolation, but I used to get like a lot of like telling off.
Yeah, fun fact. End of school, I was deputy head boy.
Oh, nice.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know how though. I don't know. I think it's my popularity because like. I want to say I was naughty, but I was cheeky. Do you know what I mean? I got sent out of the classroom a couple of times. I was cheeky, but I was top set. I was second set and top set for most of my things. And then it was like, oh, you want to apply for head boy? I thought, yeah, I'll apply. You know what I mean? I see that the smartest kid in our year got head boy. But I was calm with deputy. I was thinking, I don't even know how I got this. I don't know how I got this far, but I'm going with it. You know what I mean?
No, that's good. That's good.
But then it was school was a good time. Like, I look back and I should have misbehaved way more. I should have had more fun, but you know what I mean. But you know what? When you're back then, you're thinking, the world can change. Like you think like the world's at you, and you feel like there's so much struggle, but it's like so much pressure, and you think, you got no pressure yet.
Well, that's an interesting one actually, because obviously your school journeys are very different, like how you describe it. Obviously you were doing the sweet selling stuff and bits and pieces, and then Dwayne, it was more of a kind of just maybe messing around a little bit because you're like, maybe there's not enough challenging work being given to you and stuff like that. And because you were in top sets as well? Obviously.
Yeah, I was in top sets and everything.
And finished with good grades.
Yeah.
As well. So and you were doing a lot of sports and stuff as well.
Yeah, I was doing sports like basketball, rugby, football, you name it. I was doing it, and athletics as well. And
one thing actually that it hasn't cropped up yet. Okay, one thing that hasn't cropped up. I would guess what it's going to be, but I'm going to say that has not cropped up yet, that we've not mentioned and not talked about.
I've got no idea.
Bearing in mind you're both two good-looking young males.
What, females?
Girls.
Yeah.
What? So how did that play a part in school and the things that you're focused on?
You wanna go first?
Yeah, sure, I'll go first. I remember year 7, I was in a school called TSTC, and then I moved from that school to another school called Bedford Park in year 8.
Yeah.
And when I moved to that school, I remember one of my first days sitting down, and one of the kids comes up to me and he's like, "Oh yeah, by the way, all of the girls fancy you, yeah."
Okay.
And I was like, "Whoa, what?" Like, But I sort of just thought, okay, cool. And then obviously I'm like the new kid in the school, and I've got my fresh like high top and that. Man's looking like
the high top was like back in the day.
It was making an impact. But to be honest, I didn't really notice that the girls were like interested. Obviously, like I turned around and maybe they'd be looking at me, but I didn't really think like anything of it.
Yeah.
So I just kind of went from my school years just like not really caring that much, to be honest.
Okay.
And that was it. Like I was told that like there's no need to rush into anything. So I was just like, honestly, I was just having fun, enjoying myself, and just messing around with my boys, my mates, like really like throughout school, and that was it.
So you weren't they were there and they was kind of like they were interested, but you weren't distracting yourself at that stage. Okay. And Casey, what about you? How?
Oh, me. I had a little fun little shits in secondary school. Yeah. But I feel like a lot of the girls in my secondary school wasn't really feeling me at the time. Like I had one little, that little kid relationship and a little girlfriend. But I feel like I said, from year 7 to year 9, I always thought I was chubby and I was like the cute. Like I wasn't ugly. I was just that little cute little kid. Do you know what I mean? And then start doing all these sports, and I just lost weight from like year 9 to year 11. Yeah. And I feel like when I turned 15, 16, like I start going out more and then linking girls from other schools. I mean, I'm more of a gallus. You know what I'm saying? Cool. But
and how? So moving on to the COVID. So both of you talked about COVID. Obviously, COVID was like a once in a lifetime experience. Yeah. And I think initially
we lived through it, guys.
Like,
we made it.
Yeah. And I guess as well, like, because what you would have been? How old would you have been when it started? Do you remember?
16. Yeah. 16.
Year 11. And then you would have been.
I think I was 15.
15. Yeah. Year 10.
Year 10.
And what was that like? Because I don't even want to put any pictures in your head. Yeah.
Yeah.
What was that like for you? Like pre-COVID, and then hearing COVID is coming, or did you not even know COVID was coming? Was it not even on the radar?
I tell you, I was so happy. That sounds so bad, yeah? But hey, I was in my maths class. They said, yo, your GCSEs are coming up. Then next week it's like, oh, GCSEs might be cancelled.
Yeah.
And then my maths class, they're gone, no GCSEs. I felt like I was in High School Musical, and then they're like, summer. I was like, yo, no GCSEs, because boy, I was always a maths person, not English. And I'm like, I knew I was gonna fail English. I was like, that was something I was dreading. I'm thinking, no, and I'm thinking, long summer. Yo, never had such a long summer in my life.
Literally.
And what about you, Dwayne? What was you thinking? Like,
I remember like one of my classmates, like my tutor, was like, "Yo, have you heard of this like COVID thing like on the news?" I was like, "Nah, not really heard of it." And he was like, "Oh yeah, like so, like people are getting sick and stuff." And then like what you were saying, you start hearing it. They're like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna have to like think about maybe doing like teacher assessed grades and that. We might have to do some online lessons." I'm like, okay, like this is sounding pretty good, bro. You're telling me I just get to stay home and do school and like everything's good. So to be fair, I was like, yeah, it seems pretty cool.
Yeah.
I remember going in, like putting my mask on, and I realized like, yo, this isn't really doing anything. Why am I even wearing this? So I just didn't wear it. And then obviously you never wore a mask, so I never saw my dad wear a mask.
Some flames, like
So I was like,
that's cool. So I didn't. I done my homework and go on.
Yeah, exactly. You did your homework. You saw that it was like ineffective unless you have something. So I sort of saw that and I was like, yo, I didn't need to like wear a mask either. So yeah, I didn't do none of that. I thought the social distancing thing was jokes.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was just a mad sort of time, but I still kind of enjoyed it, because it was just nice, like being at home, like spending time with my family and that. Like it was just like how life should be. Do you know what I mean? Just chilling.
Sure.
Cool. That's good. And let's kind of fast forward now then. So let's jump in to where like we've kind of seen a little bit of that school journey, the early life.
Yeah.
And a little bit of like, you know, the little sprinkles of being an entrepreneur and where it came from. So let's now get into like maybe, well, Casey, you've talked really about your first business, because it would have been a business, like even just sweeping the hair, that's, you know, you're an employee there, do you know what I mean? So that would have been like your first role. What about your first job, official job?
So my first official job was at Foot Asylum.
Okay.
So obviously I was 16 in September. I was doing year 11, and it got to like near Christmas time, and I'm thinking, I'm 16 now. I've got to pay for my own presents. Like, obviously, my mum needs presents and stuff.
Yeah.
And so I was applying for jobs, and I was like, I didn't know about Indeed back then, so I'm going into town with my CV. And I'm giving it everywhere.
Yeah.
And obviously I went in the Foot Asylum, they called me and I had my first interview. I was thinking, like I was in year 11. And then, I got the job for like 2-3 weeks.
Okay.
I was in there for like Christmas break and stuff.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm going back to school. They was like, oh, cool. Like when you finish school, give me a shout, because they're saying I'm such a good employee. They're loving me so much.
Yeah.
They said, the manager said, if I'm still here after you finish school, you got a job.
Oh,
so
nice.
so like after I finished school, in the summer, like I went back to work at Foot Asylum, which was a good experience. But like finishing school, I was 16, and like these times now, like I'm chilling with the guys from my end, start smoking weed. I mean, getting up to no good.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I had a job there where I was still working with my dad, and then these times as well, he's teaching me how to cut hair.
Okay.
So like I'm working at Foot Asylum, and he teach me how to cut hair, and I'm still with the guys on the block, and because my dad saw me, he saw kind of what way I was going. Yeah. Obviously, I was smoking weed and stuff, and just getting up to no good, and he's like, look, let me teach you how to trade a trade. I mean, it's not gonna hurt. People go college and spend money to learn how to cut hair. You can cut hair for free. And also, it's like, he told me, look, I know you're getting up to this and that. You don't want eyes on you. So if anyone stops you and you got money on you or you can say, I'm working at a barbershop. And you can you got proof that And I was like,
proof of your income.
yeah,
and stuff.
proof what income I was up to. Obviously, like I said, I was up to no good, doing this, doing that, trying to get money one way or another. Foot Asylum wasn't paying me, paying like £5.90. Do you know what I mean? I'm 16, £5.90 an hour. I'm thinking, yo, this is some robbery. But one thing my dad always said to me, he said, look, if you got a job, he said never take the whole pie, to take a piece. Because when you take a piece, you can eat forever. Take the whole pie, then someone might want to take that from you. Or, you know what I mean? And
okay, so these little principles are stuck with you.
Yeah, for sure. And I thought, you know what? And I met a lot of people while I was working at Foot Asylum. And you know what I mean? One thing stuck with me, you got to be an employee before you can be an employer. Do you know what I'm saying? Because you got to know how it is to be led and how you would then know how to lead other people.
Okay.
Do you know what I'm saying? And that comes to any business that you think, like, if you have a bad manager, you know how it is to be an employee. So now if you're a bad manager to them, you think, oh, I know this employee is not going to work that good because I didn't work that good. If you're a bad, manager, do you know what I mean? And you're rude, but if you're a nice manager, I'm thinking, I'm going to do nice for you, not for the business. Yeah. But for you,
so you started learning those values, the leadership skills,
and
the structure of it as well.
And then, do you know what? I thought, Foot Asylum. Obviously, then I was still in COVID, so I'm going to college and stuff. Yeah. And I thought, Foot Asylum's not cutting it. Like, I'm making more money from being on the street, getting up to no good. But one thing I always, like, a lot of my friends stopped going to college. But I was like, you know what? I live in the UK. I got free education to the age of 18. Yeah. My dad didn't have that. Do you know what I mean? Growing up in Jamaica, he didn't have this opportunity to have free education to the age of 18. So I thought, I'm going to go to college, even though I'm doing whatnot back in the end zone to get money. Where I was like, I do college, because then if I want to go to uni, I can. And college is not that hard, do you know what I mean? Like, school's not that hard. Do you know what I mean? You just got to dedicate a little bit of time. So when I was at college, I did electrical engineering and drama, because remember I said I wanted to be a pilot. Yeah. So being an entrepreneur wasn't really by my mind. Do you know what I mean? I still wanted to be a pilot. Mom was like, I went to like half an hour like flying shows and stuff. And I think when I was 17 or 18, I was doing like second year of college. My cousin's cousin has a organization called Fantasy Wings. And if anyone's listening, you'll be an aspiring pilot or aerospace engineer. This is so he's got a company, organizations that help young black minorities.
I've actually heard of them.
Minorities.
Signed up to them.
And it's very good because it told me a lot about the industry. We had speakers from the Caribbean, flight pilots, we had British Airways, engineers, and they give a speak about their journey of being someone of minority going into that space, which is mostly for the white people. And my goal is to, and I still want to get my pilot license, but I realize it's a lot of money for that. And obviously growing up, I'm thinking, you know what, I could go that route and do for that, or I could also gain money, then do that. You know what I'm saying? Because there's like these famous people that got bare money and say, I'm gonna get my pilot license and stuff like that. Like, money is a route to a lot of problems. Like it's a solves a lot of problems.
A solution
to
a lot of problems, and opens up a lot of doors.
Literally
into different things. So no, that's really that's interesting. So I guess really then you're almost at a junction. It seems like at that stage.
Yeah, for sure.
Where it's kind of like making. You're making the good money, but slowly. But then you're also making the bad money, but obviously that's a little bit quicker.
Yeah, for sure, way quicker.
And hanging around with maybe certain individuals and stuff like that. But then you've got your dad obviously saying to you, look, come on, fix up. Like, you've got an opportunity here.
It's like with that, it's like growing up, they're these guys that I grew up with, they're my friends. You know what I mean? It's like they don't mean no bad, but at the end of the day, they don't really have a role model like my dad that I had. Do you know what I mean? And at the end of the day, they didn't have, not all of them, but like they didn't have someone that guide them. And at the end of the day, that only thing we knew was that. Only thing we knew to make money was that. People that had money, were doing that. So we're thinking, well, if we're gonna make money, might as well learn from the people that got the money around us. And if the people around us that's got money is doing that, that's what we're gonna do eventually. Now I'm a firm believer of you're a product of your environment. So if you can't change your environment, you gotta change your environment. And Yeah, so from like say 16
Yeah.
to 18 till I finished college. Yeah, and probably a little bit before that, I was like smoking weed like every day.
Yeah.
I was still going to college and stuff, and I got a distinction
Okay.
for my electrical engineering, and I got like a C for my I did drama as well. Cause you know what, I was always very like talkative, and I didn't do drama at GCSEs. I thought, you know what, I do drama because I thought, oh, there'd be some leng things in my class. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've never been a lucky guy. I wasn't a lucky guy, I'll tell you that. I've never been a lucky guy. I've been a gambler.
Yeah.
I haven't been winning yet. But
That one didn't cash in.
I didn't catch it at that one. But it was calm. It taught me, like, I met a lot of friends in that class and it was good. But
would you let me just interject as well, because you've mentioned like your dad a lot as well, yeah, and obviously you didn't live with him, but he was a big part in a lot of junctions as well.
For sure.
What would you say would have happened if he wasn't in your life?
Oh, I probably still would have went to college, for being honest, because I realised the importance of free education. Yeah. And do you know what I mean? My brothers didn't like do college and that, and I thought, you know, it's something that's important. I'm not a dumb youth. I'm not a dumb guy. Do you know what I mean? Like
But do you think though? But is it a case of you'd say in your, like, you know, obviously it's difficult to know 100%. But if you were going to kind of look at it and think to yourself, all right, actually, these are the things that I looked up to him from that perspective, and he kind of intervened, blah, blah, blah. But if he wasn't there, full stop, because some people, they grow up, no fathers at all, no contact. Do you think that potentially you would have then gone down a bad route?
Definitely. I feel like that for sure. Yeah. Like, I feel like that for sure, do you know what I mean? And like my older brother, he was like growing up, I would always say like he was more the man of the house. Yeah. He's like 10 years older man, about 10 years old, just over 10 years older than me. So obviously when I'm like 11 years old, he's like 20, 21, and like he used to make me do like 50 push-ups and 50 sit-ups after school. I'm chubby little, like coming from primary school, chubby. I used to look into the house and make sure he's not there, and sneak upstairs, yo, come on down, But obviously, you know, as he grew up in the same neighbourhood and doing God knows what, and that's just the environment I grew up in. You know what I mean? Like, and it was something where if I grew up like that and I didn't have a dad, and not even saying because he's always want the best for me. Do you know what I mean? And he don't want me to follow that footprint. But when you grow up, and that's the thing that you see and that's the thing that you're around, you're just gonna end up like that. Do you know what I mean? And for sure, like I did a lot of things I'm not proud of, but do you know what I mean? I don't regret what I did, because at the end of the day it gave me a private perspective, a lot of things, and
that's good. It's good to be honest about these things as well, and it's and to be, you know, because a lot of people would say, oh, I was forced into it, I had to do it, and stuff like that. But I think, you know, like we said at the early part as well, you've got a mature head on young shoulders. If
I be honest, like I never told my dad what I was doing. Yeah. I mean, he's just like he was just like, yo, he's not dumb and that. Yeah. And he's not obviously, you know what I got. He's from Jamaica. He's from Kingston. He's not from a nice part of Kingston either. He said he's street smart. And he said, look, like, you know, I know you're not gonna tell me what you're doing, but he said, be smart. Do you know what I mean? And never be no one's runner. He said, I'm not, Dad, I'm not doing nothing. Like, I'm just with my friends. Like, do you know what I mean? He said, look, you're not gonna tell me. He said, if you're gonna do anything, do it for yourself. He said, if you're gonna get caught with your own stuff. You know what I mean? Don't get caught from no one else. Just because if it's gonna be on you. Okay. Do you know what I'm saying? Okay. And I took that, do you know what I mean? That boss mentality, and I run with that, because I didn't want to be. No one could influence me for doing nothing. And I did it for myself. And to be honest, it's like growing up, it's like when mum needed money, and there's no one else she asked. I'm the youngest boy. Well, you know what I mean?
She's helping out from that side,
do you know what I mean? Anytime
just surviving.
Anytime my mum asks for money, I give it to her straight. Always and forever. Do you know what I mean? And there's been times where man's what 16, 17, and man's got to give my mum 5 bills,
Yeah.
6, 7 bills. And
Yeah.
it's like they're not asking where I'm getting this money from because you know what I mean. You don't want to know the answer. But when you need the money, you're gonna ask.
Yeah.
And it's like she don't want to ask. She might know where the money from, but she's
obviously got to pay the bills and keep the
you know what I
roof
mean?
over
And it's just
everyone's
like
head. Okay.
that's one thing. Do you know what I mean? You gotta just adapt to your surroundings.
Yeah.
And do you know what I mean? You're either gonna eat or get eaten.
Yeah.
That's where I grew up. You're either gonna eat or get eaten. And you know, sometimes it's always okay to know when to quit as well. Like I got friends in jail, do you know what I mean? And I had friends that have died, you know what I'm saying? It's a place where you don't want to be in. You don't want your kids to be in, do you know what I mean? And for me, I had to make a decision from like when I would probably really recently as well, if I'll be honest with you, I made a decision to myself and told myself, yo, there's this way or that way.
Yeah.
You can't go halfway.
Yeah.
And do you know what I mean? And I told myself, I was like, yo, like, I'm so far. I say I'm not a lucky guy, but I've been lucky to not get caught.
Yeah.
And not got everything. And I was like, yo, there's my luck will only take me somewhere. And now I'm 21 years young. And it's like, obviously I made a decision a while back, but it's like, it's still recent. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Because you're still a youth, really.
Yeah,
aren't
do you know what I mean? And I was
it's
like, yo, I got introduced into my industry of network marketing, trading, and investing when I was 18. Still, I think
pause that, because we're gonna get into that.
Get me speaking, you know. You won't get me this shit up.
That's good, but no, that's fine. But we're gonna get into that. But I wanted to kind of flip it a little bit because just to get onto your first job as well, because we talked about your foot asylum.
But I speak too much, man. You gotta tell me, innit? Just tell me to describe it, man.
But but yeah, Dwayne. So let's talk about your first kind of work, and then we can get into the entrepreneurial side of it and your first business and stuff like that.
So I've just left school. Or did I even leave school then? I think I was just about to turn 16. So I wasn't even 16 yet. And I got a job at Holiday Inn. So I remember you knew the lady that worked there.
That's right.
And then got me a job.
Yeah.
It was kind of like a, one of them ones where it's like, don't tell anyone he's 15 that he's got a job.
Hey, it's not what you know. It's who you know.
Who you know. Your network is your net worth.
Yeah.
So I got that job. I was doing linen porting. So if no one knows what that is, basically the housekeepers that have all of like the bed sheets and that, someone has to bring the bed sheets to them. That was me. So I would be in the lift, bringing the bed sheets up, putting it in the room, stacking it in the room. And I remember thinking like, yo, these rooms are so unorganized. You got pillows here, blankets on top of the pillows, then you got pillows over there, then you got like, I don't know, mattresses over there. Like it was so messy in the rooms. So I thought, yo, let me try like coordinate this. Let me see if I can, organize it. So I went round, I organized it. Everyone loved me there. Like the housekeepers loved me. I was like almost like their son, because like these are like older ladies as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a really good experience. Like my first sort of job, and it was a good job because it taught me how to sort of work in a team, and how like if one cog is broken, the whole system just like doesn't function. So it was a good experience.
And what was how long was you doing that job for then?
I did that for, it must have been about a year.
And then that was Saturdays, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was on the weekends.
Still doing college, and stuff like that
School
as well.
and college, yeah.
And then so you were doing that then, and then fast forward, so you're kind of finishing college now.
Yeah.
What was your decision making around whether you're going to go into work or go into university and stuff like that?
Okay, yeah, that's a good question. So my thought process was, okay, so what do I want? What's my goal? My goal was that I wanted to get money so that I could then travel, I could then like retire my family, etc.
Yeah.
So then I thought, okay, what's the best option? Is it uni, getting a bit of debt, to then hopefully like find a job afterwards, like a decent job, and then get money, or should I just go straight into the deep end and then try just like get the money straight away and just like collapse that sort of pathway. So I chose to collapse the pathway and essentially upskill myself because I went into telemarketing because I wanted to learn a bit of like sort of sales and everything like that.
Sure, yeah.
Communication. So I did a bit of that.
What was that like?
That was hard for me because, to be honest, growing up, like I was very shy. I still am, like a little bit. Still working on it. Still, obviously, there's room for improvement.
Okay.
But I thought if I can go into telemarketing, I can get on the phones, I can call these business owners that are telling me to like F off and that, like, go away. Like that definitely like thickened my skin and like taught me that like I can speak to anyone basically. And helped me with my communication skills and like sales skills and stuff like that. So I thought that was really important because if I want to run a business, then I'm going to have to learn sales because without sales, the business will die because money and cash flow is the lifeblood of the business.
Okay.
So that's why I chose that sort of pathway. And then I'm not sure if I want to get into it later, but now I'm trying to build my own business, which is in AI. So it's like providing AI services to other companies.
Okay. Before actually that's a
hold my tongue on that.
Just a little bit because what I'm really kind of like you two are a year apart, okay, and it's very interesting listening to your different journeys as well and seeing where some of the bits intersect, and then where there's the different backgrounds as well, because I think a lot of the time people assume that kids your age that look like you have the same backgrounds and kind of maybe put a generalization and assumptions on things as well. So, it's nice to see and listen and hear the difference in your backgrounds, the difference in your journeys, but then also the bits where obviously the making the money, but doing it through a way of learning the process as well has both clicked for you. Understanding the fact of like you were saving your money, you were saving your pocket money.
Yeah.
You weren't getting pocket money, but you were then sweeping at the barbershop and stuff like that, and then doing the sweets and stuff like that. Yeah. But both of you getting jobs as soon as you turn 16, part-time Saturday jobs, and then building it up from there. So that's like really, really good and really, I think, inspiring for other people your age, because let's be honest, how many entrepreneurs, or would you say there's a lot of entrepreneurs in your kind of cohort, so your age group? Let's hear it. Let's hear it.
Well, you say entrepreneurs, that a lot of my friends growing up, and the people that I'm around from my area were selling narcotics, innit? So if you want to call them entrepreneurs, you can call them entrepreneurs, but no one that I was around wanted to have a boss. Do you know what I'm saying? No one really, do you know what I'm saying? And
what about like doing it from like a legal entrepreneur? So like say for instance, whether it be people from your area or school.
If we be honest, I don't really have anyone like that around us. Do you know what I mean? The only thing we know was the people I was hanging around with. The only thing we know was the street and was what we was doing, and I wasn't really around anything like that. Unless it was with my dad and maybe his friends. You know what I mean? Because he's got his own business and he friends with like yourself. My dad and I didn't really growing up. I didn't really have that. Do you know what I mean? And it's funny living in Southampton where you're so close to people that have a different lifestyle than you. And it's like, remember when I was in college and I realised the life from my area was what I want. And I got invited to my friend's house who I was in drama class with. Yeah. And it was in Chandler's Ford. Yeah. And I got the bus there. I swear down, I got off the bus and I'm looking at these big houses. Whoa, like, do you know what I'm saying? Honestly, I've gone into her house and that she's got this massive garden. She's got what's it called, like a summer house in the back. I'm thinking, bloody hell, your summer house is as big as my house, like, you know what I mean? Like, yo, and I was like on the way back now. I got that one bus, number 2 from Chandler's Ford, all the way down into St. Mary's, and I went to the chicken shop and just looking around. bin bags on the floor. And, do you know what I'm saying? I'm thinking, nah, this is not the life I want. Do you know what I mean? And I learned that from like 17, 18. I was thinking, nah, this is not the life I want. And like, but you know, there's anything that I was thinking, a 9 to 5 is not making what, £6 an hour. Like I wasn't making no money. I'm thinking for now, I'm gonna do what I'm doing to make money because I turned 18 now, man. I had like I got a couple thousands. You know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? Any shoe that I want, I could get. Do you know what I mean? I wasn't. I was saving up though. I didn't buy anything flashy or anything like that. But if I need to go eat. If I wanted a pizza or Chinese, I could eat a pizza or Chinese. I don't have to wait till mum's getting paid on Friday to get get me a McDonald's.
Get that Domino's.
Oh, mum, you cooked today? No, let's get some Chinese. You know what I mean? So like, I kept with that, and then finished college, and I had a decision: should I go uni or do I go into work? And these times I said I was going to be a pilot and stuff, and I was thinking of doing aerospace engineering with pilot studies, and because I got good grades in my college, and like I said, I was not a dumb guy, so I thought, you know what, I might as well shoot high. And then with the pilot studies, you still have to pay extra money, and I think, where am I going to get this money from? I don't come from money.
What? How much money would it have cost?
Like 80 to 100 bags.
Okay.
And I'm thinking, a lot of the money I had to try to do myself. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't come from money. So I'm thinking, you know what? Let me take a gap year. Yeah, I'll see from 16 to like 18, I'm cutting hair at my dad's as well. So especially what I'm doing with the guys from my area, I'm also doing £5 trims, £10 trims with my dad at the barbershop. And I was like, yo, let me take a gap year. And start cutting hair, started working with my dad every day. And I'm so grateful for that gap year because me and him got such a stronger bond now. Do you know what I mean? And being able to work with my dad, and do you know what I mean? Him he's like, oh yeah, I'm going for a couple of days. I'm holding down the shop and teaching me how to be like, without teaching me kind of like how to be an entrepreneur, how to be my own boss, and how to look after a business. And now I'm watching him. Do you know what I mean? Having conversations with his friend as well, his accountant, and seeing all the little things behind the scenes. And then before I went to uni, I was thinking, I was having a conversation, what I'm going to do at uni, I was even going to go into finance or in IT. And during this time, my dad went up to open up a food shop. Obviously, there's time as well, like I'm helping them get the money for the shop. You know what I mean? The money that I'm getting from working with him, like most of it's going to him. Do you know what I mean? Most of it, I'm not even eating from what I'm gaining because I'm putting it into the shop, innit? We're working with him at the shop, cutting hair and stuff. So I was thinking it was a sacrifice at the time, and now we got the shop, both barbershop and the food shop. And I say, looking at going to uni, I thought I'm gonna go into cybersecurity. I think, you know what? I don't know if that's something I want to do, but I was thinking, if I was gonna do anything, I'm gonna do something where it's gonna be beneficial. I know the world's going into IT. Cybersecurity is going to be a big thing, even though AI is going to be a big part of it. Cybersecurity is still going to be a big thing. So I thought, if I'm going to make that decision, I'm going to do that. And I wanted to go uni anyway for the experience. Even though like I'm in debt. But it's an experience I wouldn't get anywhere else. Do you know what I mean? Uni is experience. You're not going to get uni. You can't go uni when you're in your 30s because it's different when you're 19, 18, 20, when you're at uni.
You can go to uni in your 30s.
You can go. But I'm not saying what you mean. It's the experience of uni.
For people, the majority of people are leaving college, so it's going to be around like the same age, same life experience.
You go uni when you're 30, you're working part-time, you're just studying, you're focused. When you're going uni when you're 18, 19, you're studying, but you know what I mean? After uni is about networking.
So with that in mind, are you obviously 21 now? So the uni, obviously, that's being...
got 1 more year left.
So you're in uni at the moment?
Yeah.
Okay,
studying.
Okay, cool. So, and you're studying cybersecurity? Yeah,
cybersecurity and networks. I took a gap year, so I started uni in 19. Because I thought, you know what, that gap year, I travelled. I went like Iron Apple, I went Tenerife. I went Budapest. I went Canada. And so I travelled in my gap year and also working with my dad, which was like I really enjoyed because you know what, spending time with your family, because you never know what tomorrow's to bring.
Okay.
And,
so let me hold you there then. So
yeah,
because
go
I want to make sure that I got this. So currently now, so you're doing a degree,
yeah.
and that's locally in Southampton.
Bournemouth.
So you're doing a degree at Bournemouth University.
Yes, sir.
And then you've started the food shop.
Yes, sir.
Then so that's family, yeah.
Yes, sir.
Family doing that, and then are you doing other things as well, like
So,
as an entrepreneur?
yeah, so going into we've got the food shop. The food shop's in my name. So obviously, like I said, working with my dad at the barbershop, everyone knew me as the second barber. Do you know what I mean? Like my dad would go there, can go away for a week, go on holiday, and I'm holding down the shop. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure you see me working there a couple
Yeah,
of times. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like the shop was always something that was me and him, because none of his kids did anything like that.
Yeah.
So the barbershop was kind of me and him, and then we opened up the shop downstairs, and he bid it in my name. He's thinking, no, he's basically leaving it to me. And like the first 3-4 months before I started uni, I was working at the shop full time, 12-hour shifts, boy, from 11 to 11. Yo, hey, I never knew it was hard, you know. I don't know nothing about cooking, I don't know nothing about, but now I can cook you a banging brown sea chicken, I'll tell you that, boy. But obviously, so with that, so I do cyber security. Obviously, I know how to cut hair, so I was cutting like hair beginning of of uni as well. Then got the food shop. And then
and what type? Because you haven't mentioned what type of food shop it is.
Oh, Caribbean. So it's Caribbean food. So we got like spice of Jamaican food, Trinidad food. It's in Southampton, Bedford Place, 16 Bedford Place. Check it out.
Plug it.
Free for information. Yeah.
Plug it. No,
Caribbean spice and jerk. Yeah.
Good.
But and then on top of that, when I turned 18, and when I was working at my dad's shop, we had one regular come into the shop. And he was like, Afri, this is what, bro, I knew him from young. But his dad always used to bring him into the shop. He used to pay, and you know, he's one of my mentors till this day. And he used to pay for Saints, and he used to come in and he took it to my dad's a Saints supporter. He used to talk to my dad like about Saints, And then one day he's coming, turtleneck, do you know what I mean, trousers, briefcase. I'm thinking, get a whole load of this guy. Do you know what I mean? Like usually he coming with smart wear, and he's gone on the chair. He said, Afri, like, you know about crypto? My dad's got me into crypto these times as well. He's very business-like. And I'm just there in the chair, like I'm just 18, fresh 18. And he's like, I'm doing this event at Cattle's, you know, it's Cattle's t-shirt out. I'm doing this event, you should come down, And I was so scared to ask him. I don't know why, I was so nervous, but I thought, you know what? I had this mentality, because I'm like growing up like you, I was nervous, but I was still outgoing, but I was very nervous doing it. And I started just telling myself, you know, kind of F it. Do you know what I mean? Anything you do, just F it. Because at the end of the day, you'll probably have more regrets of not doing it than doing it. And I was like, but what's this event? He said, good. And I went to the event in Cattle, small, it's all packed. Had my little notebook and pen. He's talking about Web3, Web1, where we came, where we're gonna go, crypto trading, and I sat down. I was like this. I was thinking,
it's just like a sponge.
And
just
literally. And I was like, like I said, the only thing I know was maybe doing a pilot. I don't know about what kind of thing. I see trading but I trusted him. And I didn't trust what he was telling me, but I trusted him that he trusted what he was telling me. So I was like, you know what, I gave him a chance. And I'm so grateful for it. And I was and then I joined that company. The International Entrepreneurship company was of network marketing, its product was teaching people skill sets like trading, investing, e-commerce, social media, and the whole community of things. And I'm so grateful. I met so many different people. I learned a lot of skill sets while I was at this company. And from 18 to say 21 till probably January this year, I was part of this company. But 18 to even 21 again. This beginning of 2025. I was part of this company. They were teaching me. I'm learning from six-figure earners. I mean, I'm on calls with millionaires. They're giving us the blueprint. And I'm learning, but I'm still the same old habits. You know what I mean? I'm still with the same guys, still going clubbing. You know what I mean? I'm young. You know what I mean? Now girls are part of the equation. More and more of like, you know what I mean? Man's started driving now. I can go places. You know what I mean? And all these things as well. And I was like, I realised I've grew a lot with being in the industry and about personal development. It taught me a lot, got me into reading books, listening to audios, like how important my habits are on a day-to-day basis, and all of them things there, something I was never taught before.
So it seems like this is a period, like a real condensed period of time where
like a lot has happened and a lot of decisions had to be made. And like you said, I was at a pivot, like when I finished college and I was working with my dad full time. I was still up to no good, but I was working with him at the shop and I got into this trading thing. So I used to wake up in the morning, 8 a.m, get the London Open, learn that. Then I used to go to my dad's from 11 and then at 12 and doing New York Open and just my laptop. And I was glued to it, but then evening now comes, bye dad. Go straight down to the block with the guys. And I was doing that every day until the shop opened. And then I'll just start working there full time, stopped everything else, then went to uni and I'm still trading, still doing this and that. But I was still smoking. I was still, you know what I mean? I was still going out every day. My habits weren't what they are now, I would say.
So what would you say your habits are now and what your main focus is now then?
So, do you know what? Yeah, 2025, I was in a relationship and little toxic relationship. Because of that, like, I stopped talking to a lot of people. Not because like, oh yeah, man, I just stopped talking. It's just, I just think I couldn't be arsed and that because me and my girl broke up with her and I joined this new company. New energy, new change of paradigm and new change of just motivation and momentum. And because of that, it's like, I grew a lot with this old company and 2025 I told myself, what do I want this year? How do I want to achieve it? I haven't achieved this last 2 years. Why have you not achieved in the last 2 years? Because I'm not following what these people are telling me to do. I mean, I'm doing a lot. I mean, like, I'm posting on my social media. I travel to Budapest and these other countries, Mexico, and I've met these people, and I'm trading every day, but I realise everything starts in here. It's the battle of the mind. But I'm smoking every day. I'm bad around energy, and I'm around bad vibrations. And really and truly, that 2025, when I'm basically cut myself out from everyone, I realised broke up with my girl now, and I joined this new company. And this is very recent, like probably like a month and a half ago. And I was like in the gap of a month joining this new company in this new community. I feel such a like fast growth for myself. And I realized it's like, yo, if I did this back then, right now I'd be in a way different position.
But it kind of kick-started.
It kick-started because, do you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, a lot of people that I've seen in my community, they didn't come from a background I came from. And I had to not even cut people off, but I had to just exit myself from a lot of situations, exit myself from going out and doing this and realising, yo, like, I just start...
Sorry, is this community then, is it, so it's the same type of thing, what, like Web3 trading?
Yeah, so... In this company, it was called IM at the time. I think it's now called Iovia. And it's like a company, which is a network marketing company, which products are educational purposes of skill sets, online skill sets, creating an online business, etc. And within that company will be separate communities, right? And this is where you have leaders, obviously network marketing, you have leaders that then bring people in, right? And then in that community, you have other traders, other entrepreneurs that's helping you, you're networking. And it really is a beautiful thing because I've now got friends, family even, in America. Do you know what I mean? This is like, I would never know them otherwise. Do you know what I mean? And
so it's a good it's broadening your horizons.
Yes, and I'm so grateful for that. I'm so grateful for the opportunity it's given me. I'm so grateful for that company and the growth because I had to learn the hard way all the mistakes that I wish what I'm doing now I was doing back then. But
you're only 21.
Yeah, do you know what I mean?
So,
And I remember when I was working at the shop, when I had to wake up early, I was going to the gym. These were at the food shop. So before I started uni, me and Dowayne will go in the morning, go to the gym, and go sauna. We'd be in the sauna talking to grown men about business, philosophies, AI, and do you know what I mean? And that was like kind of start. And then when I got into, and I was on a good path, I was trading, I was doing good, and I got into uni, and I was like, I went through freshers. Do you know what I mean? And I'm drinking every day. Now I'm back in my old habits and stuff. Doing like, oh, what did you go gym today? I'm like, yeah, bro. I didn't go gym. But like, but I was make sure I was still like involved, and I'm grateful for my mentor. Because my mentor be like, yo, bro, like, come on, bro. Do you know what I mean? And getting me in and stuff. And so now going into 2025. And
so you're hitting it hard. Hitting it hard in 2025. And it seems as though you've kind of like, everyone has wobbles. It's part of the journey, isn't it? To have a wobble. And also as well, like, I think it's a little bit like an iceberg where most people, when it comes to business and when it comes to success, whether it's in sport or whether it's having your own company or startup, they see the tip of the iceberg that comes out of the water, but they don't realise all the hard work underneath and all the mistakes and the learning and things like that. So I hear it. I can see it in your face and I can hear it.
Do you know what it's like? It's like I'm doing all these things, but I'm also trading and stuff. And when I first started trading, it was so frustrating. Like the amount of different videos they have now, I didn't really have it like that back then with the industry and the community. And I was like, yo, I used to wake up 8 a.m. getting that. I was on the charts every day. And like, I'm not saying I'm the best trader now, but like a lot of people start for a month and realize, oh no, I can't do this. And it's like, yo, trading's frustrating. It is frustrating. But you got to be emotionally intelligent and realize, look, I got to calm myself down. It's a skill set. You're not gonna. But I was like, and I knew that because, like I said, my dad taught me how to cut hair. You think my first trim was good? You think I was, you got to say, no, bro, it was good. You can't even showboat in the mirror. You got to wait till he gets home and texts the mirror, then he calls you up and got air his calls and that. But like trading, that whole thing is a skill set. It takes years to really define and really get the results that you want. And I realized that from early, and I realized, I'm still young. Like you said, I'm still young. 2 years is nothing.
No, that's good. That's good. No, I like that. And Dowayne, so talk to us about your kind of stepping into your first business, what that business is, and how you kind of got into it, and and so forth.
Yeah, of course. So I've got a computer science background. So I did like computer science at GCSE, A level. And I've always had that sort of mathematical and like computer science sort of inclination. So when I saw like AI coming around the corner, like you're talking about it, like even before ChatGPT, I saw like AI is gonna be big. I need to be part of this. So that's basically exactly what I did. Like I spotted an opportunity whilst I was doing my like cold calling telemarketing at this company. I was like, yo, you telling me someone's manually going through the call and like listening to the words that people are saying on the call to make sure that it's like a good call? Like, nah, like this is old fashioned. Why are people doing this manually? This is crazy. I thought like that's a perfect opportunity where AI can literally just come in and then just do that automated. No one has to be on the call. No one has to be listening to it. It can just do it by itself. So I saw that first of all as an opportunity, and then second of all, obviously I wanted to learn sales, so I was doing like sales training and that. And like sometimes the manager would have to like step out, be like, oh yeah, 1 second, and he'd be like leaving us to do our own thing whilst we're like learning like and doing like sales training. And like I just realized like this person doesn't really have enough time on their hands, especially where they're a new company as well, to do all the sales training. So I thought, what could I do? So at the time, I'm like, I went on ChatGPT in it because I thought, all right, ChatGPT, maybe ChatGPT can help me out. And I put in the script that I was supposed to be learning into ChatGPT.
Okay.
And I started talking to ChatGPT to learn the script.
Yeah.
Instead of like talking to my manager or the person that was training us because he was gone. So that really helped me a lot because I literally got to talk to it in like a sort of conversational way to learn the script. And obviously I didn't need anyone else to help me with that. It could just be me and my phone. So I thought that's a good little sort of solution that I could put together where like people who want to learn sales, instead of training on like live calls or needing like a sales trainer, they can just have an AI that simulates being a customer or helps them with their script. And they can train on different sort of scenarios and learn sales that way.
Yeah.
So that's where the idea for AI My Biz, which is the company that I've started, that's where the idea for that sort of came along.
That's really good. And with that, so you've set up a company now, and what's the next step? So you've got that idea, and you've got the product ready, or you've got the product still in development?
So it's still in the development stages at the moment.
Yeah.
Probably a month left until that's all finished, and then after that it'll be looking at like talking to businesses and sort of re-talking to a business that I've already spoken to that was interested.
Yeah.
And then going from there basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's really cool. And so I take it then you've got some businesses that are interested already then. So this isn't just something like an idea where you're just like, right, this is a good idea, a gap in the market.
No.
But actually
I've actually spoken to people like they're interested. So I thought, okay, let me double down on this and let me see where it takes me.
Brilliant, really good. And it's really nice to hear both of your journeys as well, and to hear the different types, because obviously we've got kind of like you're both similar in the fact of you like technology, you know, and obviously doing cybersecurity, and then doing computer science, but then at the same time it's a case of, Dwayne, you've gone down the AI route there and implementing services there that can help businesses through their AI integration and maybe doing stuff that they were previously doing, but enhance the offering. And then Casey, then you've got like you're doing uni as well, so you're doing trading, and then you've got the takeaway business as well. So it's like it's really good, the different dynamics there as well. And I think how I'd like to kind of finish this is, what would you say to like kids now coming through, like if they're say for instance, if anyone around about your age, younger, or maybe even a little bit older, that's maybe thinking to themselves, not too sure what I want to do at the moment. I'm a little bit kind of like out there, what you know, I don't want to necessarily work a 9 to 5, or maybe you would say work a 9 to 5 while you develop something else. What would you say to anyone in those positions?
My advice would be definitely to explore and try a lot of different things, because you don't know. One thing my mentor said is like, he's asked me, you ever tried a Wagyu beef steak? I looked at him, bro, no. He said, then you'll never know what it's like. And I was like, yeah. And he said, then you should never say no to learning a different skill set. You'll never know what it's like to achieve something from that or anything. A lot of people will get into our business, I don't want to be doing network marketing, I don't want to learn how to trade, I don't want to, do you know what I'm saying? I don't want to do doing this and that. And it's like, you can never really say you don't want to, or you don't think you'll like it unless you try it.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? You don't know if you like a Wagyu steak unless you try it. Do you know what I mean?
So it's just try it, explore,
explore, be open, and don't be afraid of failing and risk taking, because at the end of the day, anyone that's made money and become an entrepreneur has taken risk, and they don't fear risk, they welcome risk, because when you don't risk and you don't lose, you will never learn. So you keep on getting something without having to learn. There's so many times I've lost money and having to do that. Like even when working in school and it's like the cookies and stuff, there's been times where I've lost money, lost some product, some sweets from my bag, or do you know what I mean? And it's stuff that happens in life, and you got to learn how to adapt. And looking at this day and age, you got to see a gap from what people would want in a business. You looked at it, you took control, you took charge. Hopefully it goes bad, but if it don't go bad, he's going to learn from that mistake, then he's going to bounce back.
Good.
Do you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, it's also where it's like you got to ask yourself what type of person you want to be.
Okay, that's
Life is going to be hard.
Yeah.
And you got to pick what kind of hard you want to do. You want to struggle or you want to grind to get rich or grind to be wealthy. And some people, not everyone's a leader. Not everyone's going to make it. And that's just that's the truth. Not everyone's going to do it. There's going to be people that are lazy. I see it. There's going to be people that are from people now and looking in terms of you're going to be an NPC or you're going to be a main character. And my question to you is got to ask yourself, what do you want and why do you want it? What's your whys? Do you know what I mean? My why is for my mum, my sister. I want to be able to build a business where they can work with the family and be somewhere where they don't have to work for anyone and they don't have to ask anyone to go on holiday and stuff. I want to build that kind of economy for like my family.
And that's funny actually, because I was going to go on to that as my next part as well, as my kind of closing part, but you've answered that for me, and that is, why do you want to make money?
I feel like it's a big question that a lot of entrepreneurs got, especially when you're young. I'm so grateful being a part of the community. It's called FTP. It's called For the People. Our main headquarters in the Netherlands. I'm a part of a company called GFU, and my mentors always said to me, like, when you join, he said, you got to identify your whys. Why are you doing this? Because otherwise, you're not gonna go far. When you just I'm just doing it because there's so many interests that I've started and left because it's like, I'll get bored now. But when you have a why, you're achieving this, why you want to achieve these goals, you're gonna keep on going. And then you're gonna tell yourself, and I see this quote on Instagram because I follow these entrepreneurs, and he said, if you lack discipline, you lack vision. Because when you have vision and you have a goal, you know you got to be disciplined for you to achieve it.
And it gives you clarity as well.
And if you're not disciplined, that means that your vision is not big enough. Do you know what I mean? You don't want that goal. Because if you want that goal, you know that you have to be disciplined. And that's literally it.
Well, that's nice. It's good. There's a lot of things there that are familiar with my own kind of understanding and experience through business as well. And we're all on different journeys, but it's good to hear you two as young people, like your journey and where you're at, and that's some gems there, some gems that you're dropping.
Big gems.
I like that.
It's more to come, man.
Yeah, plenty. And Dwayne, how about you then? So what would be your kind of thing to young people that are tuning in, watching this, or older, anybody?
Yeah, so I definitely agree with Kamani, having like an openness as well to like sort of different opportunities that might present themselves, find out what you want to do. But at the same time, it's like looking at like what you want to be, like what you said, looking at what you want to be, and then looking at people that are already there or close to what you want to be as well, taking in the information that they have to offer and the knowledge and advice that they have, and then essentially replicating that, but also adding the discipline on top. And I believe that there is a formula to success. If they've got there, you can get there too. So if you follow their sort of pathway, then and add your own unique spin on it, because everyone's unique. So that's just being you, just being authentic. You will most likely get there. So that's my
also,
sort of.
Also, want to add on that as well is that one thing like you said about who do you listen to, who you following, and I've been mentoring my mentors, because at the end of the day, you gotta have a mentor. Like have a mentorship. If you want to get into, even if you want to be a boxer, you're gonna have a coach. Do you know what I mean? You wanna listen to people that have what you want or achieved or can help you get somewhere. And when I talk about mentorship, my mentor said you'll never outgrow your personal development. Do you know what I mean? So always what's called educate yourself. Educate your mind. Make sure your mind is thinking more positively. Anything you can achieve, you can achieve. Do you know what I mean? Have you guys read Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill?
No.
I've heard of it.
There's one quote saying, what your mind can conceive and get itself to believe, it can achieve.
Yeah.
And if anyone young, aspiring entrepreneurs are watching this, I'll say go read Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. It's a powerful book, very gems, and the author back in, I think it was like the 20s or something, 1920s, something like that.
Yeah.
He took most of his life, interviewed the most richest people, entrepreneurs in the world, from like Henry Ford and all these people there, and you got the secret to success. And basically, it all starts with the mind, how you think on your day-to-day process. Do you even believe? A lot of people say, I want to do this, but do you actually believe you're going to achieve it?
Yeah.
You really and truly, they're going to like, but they got doubt in their mind.
They
don't really.
It's the actions that need to follow the thoughts. And then, in the direction, and I think like one of the biggest things that I understand for success in anything, whether it's business, relationship, family, you name it, and that is consistency.
Facts.
Consistency. Everyone can start a business, everyone can start a relationship, anything you can think of, they've already been started. But it's those ones that keep going. But that's why I feel like discipline falls in line. Yeah. Because if you're not disciplined, you're not going to be consistent. Yeah. Because discipline over motivation every day. You're not going to be motivated every day to do it, but when you're disciplined, you're going to keep that consistency, boy. And something, actually, listening to you both, something that I thought of to ask, actually, as part of your growth. So you're talking about a mentor, and then Dwayne, I know you've obviously mentioned things before as like, say, for instance, your mum and dad and things like that. What about team? Because I know that there's a lot of kind of entrepreneurs, and it seems as though like they've done it on their own, but in reality, there is always a strong team. So far, your team has been kind of like you, your dad. That's been a team, and then there's been others.
Yeah,
but how do you see that growing?
Yeah, so obviously, like with team, when it comes to my dad and it comes to the family business, but going to like what I do when it's being an entrepreneur with my community, we have a community right now in Southampton of a team of 10 plus people, and it's just a start. Like, it's small, but these are people that I didn't really know before going into this industry, and they're from a different background from me, but I see the hunger in their eyes, and lovely people. You met them at their event, and these are people that are just like, I feel like them as my team, because we've come together, we've created a mastermind, and we've created a vision where what we want to achieve in the next couple of months. We want to be opening up our office in Southampton where we can come together and trade and invest and learn and do teachings, and also invite people to learn about what we're doing. And also, it's like, we want a place where it can be professional and where we can create business ideas. Yeah. Right now we're in coffee shops and stuff. Do you know what I mean? But do you know what it is? It's because we got the visions there. Yeah. Once you've got a vision, then you can achieve it with a group of people. Team is very important, but you can't bring everyone with you. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? My mentors say you can never say the wrong thing to the right person, but you will never say the right thing to the wrong person. So if it's the right person, you can never say the wrong thing. You can say blah 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 blah. They think, oh yeah, you got me. You got me up there. Yeah, but you can get the most facts, the most storytelling, the most juiciest information to the wrong person. Yeah. And you're gonna look at you like, nah. So at the end of the day,
it's all about being in the right room.
Yeah, not everyone's gonna, bro, being a part of this industry. Like, I've tried to tell my friend, this friend, and your friends won't support you unless strangers celebrate you. Yeah. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Until to other people that don't know you, you're like, yo, come on, KC, man, I see, thank you so much. And then your friends are like, oh, what you think is actually real that you're doing? Do you know what I mean? And sometimes
it's the hardest part. The hardest part is at the beginning.
For sure.
The bigger something gets, the easier it is to maintain, as long as you keep that discipline.
It's momentum. I find there's momentum, and it's like, if you push momentum very fast, then you gotta keep on going with it. The hardest part is the beginning. doing that as fast as you can, because once you finish that first part, even if it's a year and you're grinding every day, consistency, and you build that momentum. After that year, people are gonna see that consistency. Then, bro, something's gonna happen. You're gonna get a flood of things. Emails are gonna coming in. You're gonna get sales gonna come in. You're gonna get this happening, and you're thinking, whoa. You think it's coming all of us, but it's that because of that consistency. And you're thinking about your goals every day because you're working towards it. Bro, you want to get through that start so fast. A lot of people will be doing something, they'll start, then something happening. Lay it down a little bit, then they start. Even though they've been doing it for years, they're not going at the same pace, same consistency, and it's going in and out, and it takes them longer, then they end up giving up.
That's it.
I kind of see it like because you want it to be a pilot, innit?
Yeah.
I kind of see it like a plane, like taking off.
Yeah.
So you got to put in that initial energy. It's like
literally
loads of energy at the start.
Yeah.
It's a bit shaky. Then you get to a certain speed, and it starts lifting off, and then after that you're just cruising.
And then sometimes you get turbulence.
Yeah, you get turbulence.
Sometimes you gotta avoid the clouds, and sometimes it's inevitable, and you gotta just tough it through.
On that note, we have to wrap things up.
Talk about it all day,
we could.
Not only that, we definitely need to do a follow up at some stage
ready
as well.
for part 2.
Yeah, and I really do appreciate the fact that I've been sat here majority of the time just nodding and saying yep, and that's it. You two have been talking loads, which is I didn't expect it. I was expecting that I was going to be doing the majority of the talking, and you two were just going to be. But that's what I mean. That's what I'm saying.
Love talking.
I'm super glad, and there were so many gems that you dropped, and at that tender age as well. Like, you know, the sky really is the limit, and I love the mentality. And I love the thought process. And for everyone, if you've not subscribed already, subscribe, like, share,
comment.
and put the comments in as well. Put the comments in. I'll put details in the description for these two as well, so you can get in contact with them and follow them on their journey as well. And it's been an amazing episode too. So
thank you for
thank
your time,
you very
man.
much.
Thank you for inviting me.
Thank
for
you.
sure.